How social media, criminal background checks, and unemployment can impact your disability insurance claim. Hey, I'm Nancy Cavey. Welcome to this week's episode of Winning Isn't Easy. I'm a national ERISA and individual disability attorney, and I see these issues come up all the time in disability claims and during the course of a disability claim. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get started, I have to give you a legal disclaimer. This podcast is not legal advice. The Florida Bar Association says I have to say it, but nothing prevents me from giving you an easy to understand overview of the disability insurance world, the games that disability carriers play, and what you need to know to get the disability benefits you deserve. So off we go. Making the decision to reduce your hours and apply for residual disability benefits or to stop working altogether and apply for total disability benefits can be difficult. Now, you may think that once your doctors made the diagnosis of a medical condition that's going to prevent you from working, or your employer tells you you're having trouble and you should apply for disability benefits, it's all going to be smooth sailing. You may even think that once you've submitted your insurance application to the disability carrier or plan, or even get benefits, that this is going to be a piece of cake. It isn't. When you apply for your disability insurance benefits, your initial application is going to be reviewed by the disability carrier, and they're going to be looking at it from three perspectives. The first is, what are the terms of your disability policy or plan? Two, are your medical records sufficiently complete to establish that you're disabled? And disabled, as that term is defined by your policy or plan. And what's your occupation in terms of your policy or plan? In other words, can you do the material and substantial duties of your occupation, or is there something else that might be interfering with your ability to do those occupational duties? Now, in this multi-part series, I'm going to be concentrating on the occupational evaluation. I want you to know the factors that the disability carrier plan is likely to consider in deciding whether or not they're going to pay your benefits. So when you apply for your own occupation disability insurance benefits, you're going to be asked a number of questions. What were your specific occupational duties just prior to the onset of disability? What were each of the specific physical and or mental requirements associated with each duty? How long did you perform each of these duties in the course of an average day or a week? How does a disability carrier verify your occupational duties? What's the date of your onset of disability, and how does that apply to your occupational description? And we talked about the status of your license. Today, we're going to talk about the database and social media searches, the criminal background check and continuing criminal checks, the question of whether or not you might even have a job to return to in the view of the status of your license. So let's take a break for a moment, and we're going to come back and dive into these topics.
Have you been robbed of your peace of mind from your disability insurance carrier? You owe it to yourself to get a copy of Robbed of Your Peace of Mind, which provides you with everything you need to know about the long-term disability claim process. Request your free copy of the book at kvlaw.com today.
Welcome back to Winning Isn't Easy. Hey, we're going to be talking about database and social media searches. I will tell you that one of the first things a disability carrier is going to do when they're looking at your initial application and during the course of the claim is to do a database and social media search. They're going to be looking for a number of things. First, they're going to be looking at your CV, if you're a professional, for memberships in professional associations. And they're going to check the status of your membership and the involvement with the organization both before and after your disability claim. They're going to be looking at sites like LinkedIn, and they're going to look at civil litigation and criminal litigation sites for your involvement in lawsuits. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later in this podcast. But they're also going to do a broad social media search. They're going to be looking at gaming sites, Facebook, Twitter, support groups, professional sites, dating sites. Don't think they won't. Guaranteed they will. Got it? All right. So let's talk about the issue of memberships in professional associations and the status of your membership. Why would they want to do that? They want to have an understanding of what you're advertising community as to your occupational duties, because obviously they're questioning whether the occupational description that you provided is accurate and complete, and whether it's consistent with what it is you're suggesting that you do on professional sites. So they're going to look at your participation in professional associations. They want to see what you do, whether you're active in that professional organization, and they're going to look to see what it is you've done both before your claim and after your claim. But they're also going to be looking at LinkedIn or any other professional site that deals with employment and your occupational duties. Again, what they're trying to do is to figure out what your occupation is at the time you became disabled, and of course, what you might be doing after you're claiming that you're disabled. Again, they're looking for inconsistencies between what you've put on your forms, what your employer might be telling you, and what you put on LinkedIn. You have to remember that this is all related to the definition of occupation in a disability insurance policy or plan. That definition might be a definition of your inability to do your own occupation in the local economy, in the national economy, as performed by your employer or as performed based on the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, an outdated Department of Labor publication. So they're going to be using these sites to really drill down to figure out what it is your occupation might be. Okay, let's take a break before we move on to our next topic.